Hey guys, welcome back again to another episode in the Nomifactory mod pack. In the last episode we made a load of progress and got these two machines made behind me, the LV wire mill and the LV bender. Also, as you can see, I also did some tidying up the base, which is in retrospect kind of ironic considering what my plans are for today. Now, I wanted to take a break on the first part of this episode today and start planning a base upgrade, befitting of our upcoming technological prowess. I'm going to sleep here, and I'm going to show you guys where I plan on building this. I cleared out a lot of the forest over here to the side of our base, and I'm currently working on flattening this out and kind of figuring out where exactly I want this base to lie. So it's probably going to be sitting somewhere in here, and I'll terraform the terrain back and make it look all nice. Now, I have a few ideas and designs that I want to show you guys, so I'm going to hop into the test world here. So here's a couple of the ideas that I've been working with. As you can see, there's these slanted little parts here that go up, and I've always been fascinated by these types of things. I see them in a lot of these Greg Tech playthroughs, and I never really knew how to build with them, and I'm not 100% sure if I'm doing it the right way, but I've been using this over here. This is Architecture Craft Saw Bench. Now they have this, and this is what you can use to create all these really cool shapes and use those to build with. So this was my first attempt over here of kind of like an entryway using this. I'm also using these newels from the same mod pack, or from the same mod, and that's what I've been doing to do this kind of cool thing. I see this design a lot, and I've been trying to implement it here, but the design I kind of landed with was this one over here, kind of a tiered, almost randomly laid out kind of style. So this is kind of what I want to do. I don't know, but this is just kind of a general guide, and I think once we get started building it, I'll know more of what I want to do, and wow, this was really cool with the light. Yeah, so basically what my thought process here was, I wanted to make sure that I didn't just do all tech stuff here, because my roots as far as playing Minecraft are more so in regular, non-modded, so I like building, so I want to make sure that I incorporate some of that skill into the mod pack here, and I think it's a little bit different take on it that maybe some people will find refreshing. So without further ado, let's go back into our regular world, and I think we're going to give you guys a little bit of a time lapse. All right. Quick little time lapse there. Didn't work out exactly the way I was hoping. It turned out to be a little bit longer of a building process than I originally intended. But as you can see, we've got a really good start here, and you can kind of see what the end goal is going to look like. I think it looks really cool. I've never really built anything like this. I think it's going to work out really well. So I kind of have it back out as far as I want it to go. You can kind of see where it's going to connect in here. I have to do a little bit of terraforming, a little bit over there, but this is going to be where our base is going to be. And I don't know, it's going to take me some time to finish this. I don't have all the stones smelted up yet, but shouldn't be too bad to finish. The goal is, before I get this episode put out, finally, I'll drop in a clip of this base being completely finished. But since I'm not done like I originally thought I was going to be, I think we're going to have to just go ahead and start working on some of the tech aspect back in our old base that we created a little bit more space for. So we should be able to do so. But we will end up moving all that stuff in here eventually. But before that, let's just go ahead and go in here. And here's kind of my plan. As far as the floor plan goes, I'm going to have it kind of broken up into parts here. So half of it's going to be machine based and half of it's going to just be like normal survival base with like storage. And I want to pop in here and show you guys a clip of my test world of something that I've been testing as far as storage goes. All right, and here we are back into our creative test world, and this is kind of what I wanted to start talking about here. I looked at some comments back in a previous episode, and I was advised to start using the storage controllers, or the drawer controllers, and these basic drawers to kind of get everything linked up. And I'm using these trim blocks here and connecting everything together. So basically, these act like a cable that's communicating between these two. So everything in here can communicate with everything that's connected to it. So a little bit proof of concept here, how I have some drawer controller slaves over here, which act very similar to the controllers, but I think they're a little bit more performant, so you don't have to worry about as much lag. So basically what I have here is, this is a very scaled down version of what I'm going to use, but I can have everything that's in these drawers. If you look down here, I can see I put some stuff in here that I had in my inventory, and I should be able to access that from every single one of these crafting stations. So basically, the plan is to have a big wall of these, all containing items, and I will be able to use these crafting stations just like I was originally using them, and I'll be able to just pull items from this huge bank of items here, so I don't have to worry about searching around in storages or have it in the weird configuration that we had on our floor that you see in our first base. So yeah, that's kind of the plan here, and I'm going to have this implemented into that new base here at some point, hoping by the end of this episode, but we'll see how far we get along with some of the tech stuff that we need to get done. Back into our base here. Got a little bit of the building stuff out of the way. I'm going to be doing more of that in between cuts here, and hopefully, like I said, I can have a lot of that stuff done. But in preparation, I have created all the things that I need to get ourselves the macerator built. And since I'm in here, I forgot to accept this quest. Oh, it gives us a program circuit. That's massive. I will never turn that down. But one thing that I wanted to get started on was this macerator. So I think if I did everything correctly, one of these has everything in here. Okay, basic macerator. Very, very nice. Cool, cool, cool. But we're going to have to get more cable to get this thing hooked up. So we're going to hook it to this line. And like I said, we're going to move all this stuff. I tried to pretty it up a little bit over here by making the ceilings taller, adding some walls. I planned to do some expansion up here before I had the idea to build a new base. So we'll see. It's all work in progress. You guys can leave comments and let me know what you guys think I should do. But let's go ahead and get this down. Basic macerator, and we are powered. Now, I think we can just put the ores in here and it will put it to dust. So I got some iron ore ready to go to process. Let's see. This should work. Actually, let's do a full stack just to see what we can do. Now, I think you don't get the byproducts from some of these ores until you get to the higher quality machines. So I think for right now, it's just going to give us iron dust perhaps, and it looks like it's going to take a little bit of time. So we'll see once this one cooks. We should have enough power. Yep, we have all these batteries filled. This is going well, and this whole setup is going to be moved as well over to the base, or I'll create another one. I haven't even been running it at full capacity just because I'm not using enough power yet, but I assume at some point here in the near future that'll become necessary. So once we crush that, we get crushed iron ore, which at that point we can smelt into 1 iron ingot. So it's basically doubling it, but what can we do with it after this? We can make it into impure piles. And then what? What does that do? We can also smelt that. I'm not sure what the use of this is, so I think it's just basically doubling our ores, which is fine. I feel like at some point we'll be able to do a little bit more with it. We can wash it. Yeah, once we get into the higher tier stuff, we can wash it and then get some byproducts. Nickel dust, probably not the best thing for me to see what this is capable of because it's just iron, which, you know, it is what it is. So I think we can just smelt this crushed iron ore and get ourselves a macerator. So basically we got ourselves a pretty rudimentary ore doubling setup. The plan now is to get a couple hoppers set up here so I can just throw in a bunch of ores and just let it all go down into a chest here. So that's going to be the plan. We're going to have, I guess we'll have the barrel sitting right here in front, and we'll just have that going into that. So I'm going to go ahead and get going on making that hopper. And how do I have the recipe saved? Okay, so it takes a bunch of iron. So it's a good thing that we're making some iron. Okay, so we're going to need a chest first. Let's go ahead and make that. Okay. Do we have any wood? We have a lot. It's about the only thing we have a lot of. I don't even play around with it. Okay, might be able to make it here. So we need 4 iron plates. Or 5 per. So let's just make ourselves a bunch. May as well make them all. Probably should have checked what the gear needs. Of course, it needs rods. Well, okay. Good thing we are smelting or making crushed ore right now. So we can go ahead and grab some of that. Very good. And smelt that up. Okay. Boom, boom. Okay, so we have a little bit more iron going there. So I think we should be good. I do love how fast these are. Let's make ourselves some rods. Needs a file. Okay. Now, hopper. Need the gear. Need rods. Make 2 of them. And we need the chests. And we got our 2 hoppers. Very nice. We're going to take one of these chests to use as our input chest at the top here for the macerator. I don't know if you need a hopper underneath. I thought it output to... Oh, well, it looks like it just goes right into it. Perfect. So now we got to put an input here in the top, which isn't too bad. So let's put this chest on top. There we go. There we go. Very, very simply, we have ourselves an ore doubling set up. So I can just throw all the ore in here that I gather and slowly let it macerate down and throw the crushed variants of the ore into here. Now, it's a good thing that I'll probably end up making 2 of these, at least for right now, just for the beginning portion, because like I said in the last episode, our ultimate goal, well, not ultimate, but our goal for the near future is to be getting this steam grinder up and running, because it works like many of these. So that'll save us a lot of time. So let's go ahead and complete this macerator quest. Very good. Okay, so I think now that we're here, we may as well, let's see what else we were going to need. Any of these sound interesting? Compacting drawers. Compressors. Let's see what this thing is for. Okay, so it's just other compressing needs or bending needs. Would going up be good? Autoclave. Okay, pulsating iron, pulsating dust. Okay, so there's a lot of different branches and paths that we can go down here. There's a couple things that seem really cool that I'm gonna want to do. One of the things I was thinking about was getting it's a mixer, because I think we're going to need that to make copper nickel. Nickel comes from several different ores. Okay. Copper nickel. So So I think then once we make that, where do we make the mixer? Okay, so the mixer is down. So the mixer, there's a lot of different things here. I'm getting a little bit overwhelmed. So I think we should just pick something and see what we can do. Well, this looks very simple, so let's go with the basic alloy smelter to help us with our steel production, and that's just going to make everything else a little bit easier. So let's start with the basic alloy smelter and see where we go. Make sure this thing's still going. How are we doing with power? Still doing very good. One thing I've noticed is as long as we're not using multiple machines at one time, it's pretty much able to sustain itself with the current setup. But like I said, I plan on making this even more efficient and even more powerful as we go on. This is all very testy still, like me trying to figure out what's what, but it's nice that we have some basic machine and automation going on here. So I think I'm going to take a cut here, and then I'm going to go grab some things that we are going to need to make that next machine in the basic alloy smelter. And we are back. A lot has happened, as you can see, since I have left you last. Big development, if you can tell. I do not have the same amount of XP that I had, and that was because I went AFK to kind of let the macerator do its thing right here. And I came back after, I don't know, an hour, and I had been killed by a zombie. So, some kind of security issue in our house, which I then found out they were spawning right there. So right in front of my face, this thing spawned, so I go ahead and put a torch down. Hopefully we don't die if we AFK in our own base. We're gonna have to make sure we fix that in the other base, make sure that cannot happen. Also, I changed the way this is oriented so we can get some more machines in here. I'm planning on putting one here, and I extended this out 2 more. I'm thinking this one will be for another macerator, and then this one will be for the alloy smelter. So, oh, I put a lot of ores in here. I let this thing go for a long time. It's still going, so I'm pretty much just feeding it stuff and just letting it go in here, so we're getting a lot of things that we're going to need here in the future, so it's awesome. So also, I made a couple gold furnaces. I used the ones that we had in there, 2 of them, and made them into gold furnaces. I just used them to smelt some stone right now so that I can go ahead and finish the base at some point here soon. Just kind of collecting some materials. But the plan here is to have 2 hoppers going into this so that we have a fully automated, I can kind of just transfer these crushed ores into this chest, and in here we'll just have whole ores, so that should be or whole bars, so that should be perfect. What else did I do? Oh, I got a lot of crafting done. So I think in this crafting station right here, I should have just about everything I need to craft not only the basic alloy smelter that I talked about in the last clip, but I also decided to craft the basic lathe, which is going to make crafting of the rods so much quicker and simpler, because I am tired of having to craft those things, and like I said previously, I want to get all the machines rocking so I can always have something, some saving materials. So that's just another thing I can do to save some materials. So let's go ahead and craft. Looks like we have the alloy smelter first. Got to put this in here, and boom, basic alloy smelter. Could actually craft 2 of them, which is kind of crazy. Let's also get the lathe. We have everything we need for that as well, and boom, the basic lathe. So we got quite some stuff done here. So let's go ahead and in here and accept these quests. LV lathe, perfect. Makes rod less expensive. Exactly what I wanted. Alloy smelter. Alloy smelters are used to create alloys by melting and reforming items together. Now you won't need to grind up metals into dust and mix them for alloy dust. Plus, many more complex alloys you couldn't make that way are now possible. I assume this is how we're making the copper nickel. Because I thought we were going to need the mixer to mix the dust, but it looks like we can just use the alloy smelter to do that. Perfect. Well, that makes things a little bit easier. That's why you read. That's why I got to read these things. Okay, we already had the steel complete. You already have steel, but it can be made much faster in the alloy smelter at the cost of EU. You might want to save your coal dust for circuits and use charcoal dust instead. Later, you can also process either of these dusts. Okay.
carbon dust. Okay, so there's a lot of things. So it wants us to save the coal dust for circuits, which is fair. I'm not sure how to make charcoal dust, but we can we can figure that out. But let's go ahead and complete this quest. That opened up a lot for us. So that's a pretty good spot here. Let's go ahead and get these placed down. I want the lathe to be right here. It is getting powered. Perfect. Do I need to put a circuit in that? We'll figure this out. And then the alloy smelter goes on this one, and it's automatically connected. Perfect. Okay, so alloy smelter I can tell is going to be useful. We're going to need to get another macerator soon so I can have a whole bunch of stuff going into here. And then the alloy smelter as well. We're going to have an output chest as well. So I think that's pretty good progress being made here. I think now it's just about time to figure out where we want to proceed. I think for sure we're going to be doing the Cooper Nickel next episode, figure out how that gets made. We'll kind of go into this quest here. This has something to do with the steam dynamos that will help us with using the steam grinder, which we're going to need to make we can macerate stuff even more efficiently. So we got a lot of stuff going here. Pretty good progress here. I'm excited to get going into this pyrolysis oven and the blast furnaces. I'm excited to see what that's all about. LV assembling machine, that's going to be a huge thing for us here soon. So basically, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be done. So as far as the tech goes, I think we're in a pretty good spot for this episode. I'm going to be able to do a lot of research in between this episode and the next one and kind of figure out how we can make some real progress here. But I do want to take some iron ingots and just see if that is just all we have to do to make rods. And it seems that way. I didn't even have to program it, so it must mean all this is for is making rods. Okay, and it makes them at twice the efficiency. Even better. Awesome. Cool, so we have a nice, easy way to make rods now. No big deal. Perfect. Let's go ahead and take these away. I think what I'm going to do now, also, this keeps happening. I'm not sure what I'm missing there. Is it just something to do with the furnaces being up a level? I don't know. I've never seen the furnaces catch things on fire before, so I have no idea what's going on there. Anyway, before I was so rudely interrupted, I think what I'm going to do here is take some time and get some more building done on our base. I started clearing out a little bit of the land behind it, and I'm going to start terraforming it. And I've also started collecting some other materials that really aren't about the build as much as just making it look a little prettier, such as bone meal and some leaves I'm going to use for decorations. But I want to get the structure of this thing done. I would like to get it basically done so that I can just kind of do some detail work in between this episode and the next. And then we can really get into getting the base laid out in a nice fashion. So don't have too much to do here. It's just going to take some time crafting the stuff with the chisel and making that. So I think that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to take a second and get this whole structure done. And when I get back, we will have a shell of a completed base. Well, would you look at that? A little bit of time later, got our base basically done. I'm still waiting for some of the grass to grow up there for me to add some of the nature details, but I think what we're going to do now is just take you around for a little bit of a tour and kind of let you know what I'm thinking about as far as how we're going to proceed. So basically, the front is where most of the interesting stuff is as far as the diagonals. That was kind of by design because I feel like the back part that's kind of like a very factory or like industrial thing to do. Like, have you ever been to like an industrial complex? The buildings always look kind of pretty in the front, and then they're just very bland in the back where the actual work gets done. So that's kind of my thought process here, was have the front pretty and the back's where all of the work gets done. Now, I don't know what I'm going to do with this part back here yet. I kind of like that it just butts up against the hill, so I may just leave it or maybe just do a little bit of adjustment. This is going to end up being a small balcony. Like I said, I'm not completely done with it, but I got most of the bones done. I got all the glass in. There's zombies in there right now. I don't even have a way to get to the second floor except for climbing up the side. But yeah, so that kind of reminds me, this is kind of how I've been doing it. Just giving myself a little bit of bone meal, Boom. Making it look a little bit pretty. Adding some leaves, make it look like it's got some landscaping going on. And but yeah, no, I think it looks pretty good. Good thing about it is it's a lot bigger than it seems like it should be. So this is a pretty big area. What I think I'm going to do is kind of block off, so like build the wall here into here, and then make this more of the storage area, and then make this more machines, and I'll have upstairs will be all machines. I might have stuff on the roof. I haven't decided if I want to make it an accessible roof or if I just want to make it a plain roof. I'll probably make it accessible just because I'm going to need the space, I assume. But I really like the way this is going right now. I think it looks really good. Now, this is in no way our final resting place. Like I said, I want to make a Greg Tech series where I do a little bit more building because I like the way that works. I feel like it's something that not everyone does. So I'm going to do my best to continue to try to make some builds like this in the future. And as we get more technologically advanced, so will our bases. So that's kind of why I went with the bland kind of gray stone and chiseled stone color palette here, because I feel like it kind of fits where we're at. We're just kind of getting into the machines here. But I really like where we're at. Like I said, got a lot of machines built today. I feel like we made a lot of progress. And in between this episode and the next one, I will try to move everything into where it's going to be in here. And then first thing next episode, we're going to get started on that storage system that we talked about earlier on in the episode. I'm going to collect all the materials I need for that because I did some looking into what the storage controller is going to need, and it needs a little bit more stuff than I originally thought, which is fine because we have everything we need to do it. We just got to take the time and craft it. But yeah, so I appreciate you guys for coming along with me and hanging out. So if you liked it, go ahead and hit the like button and definitely hit subscribe if you want to see more. I'm going to try to keep these episodes under 35 minutes. This one could have been a lot longer. I actually took out a lot of stuff that I did as far as crafting and building. So I'll try to keep that as concise as possible. If you guys want to see anything specific in the next episode, leave a suggestion down in the comments and I'll see if I can get to it. But that's all I got for you. It's been Eagle. Peace.